Hi there and welcome back, where we're going to be talking about the new GLIM SPANKY song, Signal Hairanai, and this came out just a few hours ago, and maybe I shouldn't be too surprised considering they've obviously been getting ready and promoting their new song, their new album, Into the Time Hole. However, I was thinking to myself, well, as there's been a lot of GLIM SPANKY's talk, I'll go back and check out one of their older songs while we're waiting, and I thought, well, you know what, I'll just check and see if anything did come out, and a few hours ago, there it was, GLIM SPANKY, Signal Hairanai. Why is it I never get notifications from YouTube? Does anyone else have that problem? Anyway, let's talk about this song. This is quintessentially, if you're going to have a GLIM SPANKY single to kick off your album, this is what we are looking for. Really, great chorus, great riff, heavy impact, perfect mix and production. I mean, we could just end the review there, to be perfectly honest. But let's, as always, go into a bit more detail. Now, I'm still recovering, so here's a little bit of here's a little bit of water in a Pepsi Zero bottle. I'm going to try not to cough on you. I swear. There it is. Anyway, so when we're looking at this song, we're looking at a song that has a lot of the GLIM SPANKY qualities, but how do they come across here, and is there anything particularly standout? Well, I would say that what comes across first of all is that we again have that beautiful vocal performance and a beautiful guitar performance, primarily in the fact that there is just that sense of quality. You can really feel the passion. This is always something that is the case in GLIM SPANKY songs. You can really feel the passion. There's something tangible. Even when they're recorded like this really beautifully, they still almost feel live. I think a lot of that is because of the lack of clutter in their songs. Now, I've always been a big fan of heavily arranged songs. As someone who's primarily, my heart is in songwriting more even so than musicianship, I've always liked a song that has a lot of things going on. But when it comes to a band like this, really that's not so much what you want. You want to hear everything. You want to hear every last gritty detail of sound. And that's what makes them such a raw sounding band. And it's perfectly here. And I do think that the way that it's produced and mixed is definitely very knowing. It sounds like the production and mixing comes from a position of studio staff who are trying to allow you to hear all of that. There's a lot of attention given to clarity. Whereas when you have bigger arrangements, often you have to mix each sound a little bit thinner to find its own space in the EQ. When you have something like this, where there's not so much layering of sound going on, you can make each sound fuller. You can give more attention to giving a wide space of EQ room for the vocals, for the guitar, and that definitely is something that GLIM SPANKY can do, and I'm glad to say do. Saying do in a review, that's the very childish thing. Anyway, so first of all, kudos for the fact that the sound just really hits as always, and it just has that same delivery, that rawness, that passion, that emotion, that quality that we expect from GLIM SPANKY. Now, when it comes to the production, the other side to mention here is that there are some rather interesting new sounds. And this is not to say that GLIM SPANKY have never played with sounds before, they certainly do. But for a group who have this kind of retro 70s, 80s feel, I like it when occasionally they bring some slightly newer sounds in here. I was very hit by the fact that they used a bit of synth drum occasionally in here. It sounded like it was sort of a programmed drum that comes in like a drum machine at certain points, especially at the beginning of the second verse. It really hit. I liked the way that came in. It broke things up. You know, a lot of people go against sort of synth and programmed sounds, but sometimes they have their use, and it's like contrast. Like we say with a heavy group, you can't sound heavy if you don't have quiet bits in your song. You need contrast. And for a group like this, where there's so much passion in there, to go into like the beginning of the second verse, which I do think was my notable point, and it comes in with that sort of programmed on the beat drum, very, very sort of mechanical sounding. It's nice because it means when everything comes back in, you really take in, you enjoy that extra sort of tangibility to the sound of the guitars, of the other sounds when they come back in around it. And of course as well, when you've got like a mechanical beat underneath things, it also as well stamps out a very clear rhythm too. So there are sort of multiple qualities in that, but ultimately it's the contrast that I really like, the way that it really balances out what you're hearing by giving you a very different sound in amongst all of that. And the other point as well was at the beginning of the last chorus, I mean, I was already enjoying the chorus, but in such a typical, quintessentially Japanese band way. We all know this, one of the big Japanese band stereotypes is when you start your last chorus, always start it with a breakdown on the first line, just the vocal comes on its own, then everything else joins in. Here, the vocal came in a little bit distorted, and then they had that, like, it wasn't too much. It was like an analog synth just going out and in, doing the bass sort of. We all know that my vocal representations of instruments, as always, so good. Don't really need instruments. Just put me in the studio. I'll vocal your entire album. Anyway, so that came in, and I really liked that because partly the fact that it was sort of coming in and out and it was pulsing gave it a slightly menacing feeling as well. Very unsettling, and also that slightly analog saw synth sound makes it sound a little bit unnatural, again taking it away from the more sort of core tangible rock sound that you get from the rest of the music. So that really set up the last chorus with a bit of a uneasy, in fact that's one of the best ways I've ever heard that last chorus breakdown before the chorus actually starts thing done before. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was great. Now, if we're just looking at the basic song, taking all of those qualities into consideration and just then saying, well, look, let's look at the basic song. As I say, this is not a particularly complex song. It follows, as I say, a lot of things we're used to. That breakdown at the beginning of the last chorus, the verse, chorus, bridge, chorus formula, putting a guitar solo in the bridge. It's all kind of there. This partly is just down to the fact that that's what we expect from a single. We're not expecting anything too out there for a single, especially what I believe is the first single for the new album, Into the Time Hole. Anyway, that name, that's just... Anyway, so, back on topic. So, the the feeling as a general is that the song is quite simple, but again, it does manage to deliver a catchy chorus. The guitar riff is pretty good. The solo I thought I really liked. I thought, GLIM SPANKY always do good solos, but this was just one that just really nicely set up. It came brilliantly out of the second chorus. Also liked how, again, when that solo started, there was just a little breakdown in the backing as well. The production was really on point here. Nice little moments here and there. Nothing that really disturbed the flow, but just nice little touches. Overall, the song was quite simple, but it was a very serviceable, super catchy single, what you would expect from a single. So I'm expecting more of their complex and sort of out there and surprising songwriting on the album Into the Time Hole. But for a single, this is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly how you start marketing your album properly. It's great. I really hope it will be catchy to the general public. I hope it will get the sort of airplay I think it deserves. I love, again, that they've managed to mix their love for the retro with the modern. Their love for doing a good single with their love for being a quality band. This is a really great balance. It just worked for me. I thought it was great, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys say in the comments. But until I hopefully see you down there in the written bits or in our community, there's loads of stuff going on our Discord and everything, social media, all that. Until then, for now, ciao, ciao.